Welcome to the acclaimed podcast, The Deep Dive, featuring your esteemed hosts, Andy Monitor and Drew Dinzik, powered by BETSPERTS.
Welcome to The Deep Dive. Hey, Andy, did you know we were playing each other today in fantasy football?
No.
I don't check in fantasy football or get the fuck out.
I don't check. I do check my lineups.
You're 1-6 this season, and I'm
that was the one.
Ass.
That was the one that auto drafted. Where remember it gave me like after I had the wife out for a date, and I picked like the first three players, and then let it auto draft, and it got me Irv Smith Jr. in like the 8th round, and then and right after that it took another defense.
Two defenses,
like,
yeah.
I'm just
defense and then another defense.
The entry fee was $69. It just said like, I am going to owe $69. I'm done. I don't like waivers. I don't like fucking around with fantasy. So yeah, that team's just done. I have one team I do spend some time on. The other ones can eat a D.
I appreciate you making an effort for Halloween. I'm sure the viewers and listeners do also. Good job. Good job by you. Let's talk about some Sunday football.
It was a weird one. Just like not like weird games, although there were some of those, but that happens every week. But there were some really like head scratchy moments all the time. And yes, sure. I am recording star Olivia Rodrigo, obviously. Like it's if you do that, like you do that, and then you do that. And it says sour on your tongue.
I'll take your word for it because I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
What? You don't you don't oh my god.
No idea.
Like if you just broke up with your boyfriend,
I wish I did.
You need to listen to that whole album. It's very cathartic.
Oh, is it an album by Hole? Oh, you mean the entire album?
No, the whole album. Oh. I honestly, yeah, our demographic isn't going to be great for this, but my daughter likes them.
Okay. Well, good job by you.
Should we just start? Should we just start with the early games? Just start ripping through them.
Do you have any latent thoughts on how the Packers ended up beating the Cardinals? And the Cardinals, the last undefeated team to go down, both are now tied 7-1.
Man, I hadn't thought about that game for a couple of days. It's been a lot going on for me, just personally.
Yeah, as everyone could tell.
I had a birthday party. I had family over all weekend. I've been busy with bullshit. But no, like Aaron Rodgers just do what Aaron Rodgers do, man. Even with bad receivers, he looks good at. I mean, he's going to elevate a team like that. And I mean, Arizona had some foibles, some gaffes,
they sure did.
Some problem. I mean, when you do that, I'm trying to think of a team that did that against like Houston. There's been a couple teams that did that against Houston, and they still win 38-0 anyway. Yeah, like you do that against Aaron Rodgers, shit ain't gonna go right. So I mean, it was a bad time to have the foibles and gaffes. We should make that a thing. You know, like how trials and tribulations are always together. Yep. Foibles and gaffes should be it. It just rolls off the tongue. And yeah, the Packers have won 7 straight now. They are absolutely in especially with what's going on with Dallas tonight, the fact that Arizona lost, and I mean Rams won obviously. Like the Rams made a team look pretty bad for a while, and then did not cover the closing number, which was pretty hilarious and a good reason to
not lay an enormous number as close.
If you're going to bet on Sundays, and I bet on Sunday, I bet today. I took Miami plus 15. That was the only way that you would not lose money on Miami today if you bet them, apparently. You can bet.
There were some places that closed 15.5.
Yeah, the best of the number.
I did not get the best of the number on that one,
Sunday morning.
The Texans.
Yeah, eventually it finally was like, fuck, I have to bet Miami. And like, yeah, if you bet the Texans at the very, very best of the number, don't be the guy who bets Arizona. And not that it mattered one way or the other, they would have lost on any number, but you bet Arizona minus 6.5. Like that's going to long-term burn you. You know,
sure enough.
Betting the worst to the number right before game time is bad. So, yeah.
Minnesota's out to 4.5. We got the worst of the number there. Holy freaking hell.
And I guess just real quick, full disclosure, my plan is if Dallas can get a score and a stop, because stranger things have happened. Bad teams take the lead all the time early in games.
especially against the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, and end up losing the game if that happens and I can get any sort of a number where I can buy out, I will buy out of my Dallas price. If not, I will just take my medicine for betting into a market, not understanding the gravity of the situation with the injury. So probably just going to end up taking my medicine on that one. Carolina, Atlanta. Do you want to hit it? Or what is the first one? I should look at the actual rotation number. This one app I really like is great, but it does nothing in rotation order, which bothers me. So we should start with Miami, Buffalo. Like I said, probably a bad beat for Miami. They should have done more on offense. Like Miami needed to finish more drives, but at the same time, like that was a rough way to lose that ticket.
That I completely agree with you. That was a bad beat. Miami deserved better. Realistically, the fact that it ended on a Josh Allen scramble was all that much more salt in the wound. If they had just tackled him and they kick a field goal, Miami covers all the numbers. Miami defense played valiantly, but they could not make up for the fact that the offense scored nothing. The red zone turnover really hurt at the end of the first half.
Yeah.
A lot of things hurt in that game. And the fact that Miami did not get home was rough. If ball hadn't bounced my way on a couple other games early, I would have been really upset about that. Oh, Brady picked 6? Really? Did he really? Brady?
Wow. That's the end of that.
He can't beat the Saints team for whatever reason.
If you had to right now, if you had to start a franchise, Mike White or Trevor Siemian? I'm joking about
Mike White, obviously.
Yeah, Trevor Siemian is not like great. This has just been a goofy game. We'll get to this game, especially once it actually finishes. Not a lot to say on that Buffalo game outside of what you already said. Bad beat for Miami backers. The under, what was that? That was 48. The under came
never close. Never
close. That was kind of especially with Miami's offense.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo finally snap out of their funk offensively in that fourth quarter. You could see it coming.
That's why I was mad at Miami. It just like you knew that was coming.
I know that
they're
3rd and 26. The pick on 3rd and 26 was really, really, really unfortunate. Really unfortunate.
Yeah. Field goal there would have been fine. We
Right.
might be able to catch some cheap Bucks futures here. Somebody just brought that up. I might have to look at that because I don't think this team is broken. This is just this box score needs to be dove into face first. Carolina, Atlanta, didn't watch much.
I will give you my 2 cents on this game.
Yeah.
The Calvin Ridley situation is weird, and Matt Ryan played like dog shit today. Realistically, the Atlanta Falcons should have won by margin, and they lost 19-13. This should have been a lot more high scoring too. I think the Panthers, they were 4 of 4 on field goal attempts. A lot of them were inside the 20. So the Panthers red zone offense was atrocious, but the Falcons overall offense was atrocious. This was another kind of, Matt Ryan has had a couple of these this season where he just stinks. And today was one of them. He was 20 of 27 for 146 yards. I think I saw Kyle Pitts drop his first pass since he was a teenager. That was wild.
On the sideline. I did see that. That was
that was a huge swing too, because then they missed the field goal in the next play, and that was pretty much game. Pretty unfortunate also to get an early fumble in your opponent's red zone and not convert that into a touchdown. The Art Smith kind of, he did not bring the efficient red zone offense with him from Tennessee. This Falcons team is lucky to score touchdowns, realistically, and they remain a frustrating back. The number one offensive weapon apparently is Cordell Patterson. So Cordero Patterson.
Is it Cordell or Corderell?
Cordell Patterson. Patterson is apparently their number one weapon offensively, which is unfucking believable.
And really, somebody had a good take on him. He's like, you know what? If this guy would have had better coaching early on and someone who knew how to use him, he might have had a really good career because the way they're using him is kind of nice at times. He's looked good, and it's not just like gimmicky. They're just using him in different ways and using as he was obviously a high pick. It sucks he went to a shitty team right away.
It's French Corderell. Okay. Whatever the case is, it is patently clear this was a huge leverage game in terms of getting an NFC wildcard spot. Panthers now 4-4, Falcons 3-4. This mattered a lot,
especially with the Bears loss. The Vikings will play yet tonight. They're a bigger favorite now. That'll be a big leverage. We're gonna have the Saints winning. Probably you can't lock up the 6th seed this early, but the Saints are looking pretty good down the stretch, even with a missing quarterback. They just kind of soldier on. They just kind of Cordarrelle, he says.
Cordarrelle.
Atlanta uses Patterson. How Jags should use Chenault. That's not a bad take. I like Laviska a lot. The Jags might have a bad coaching staff. I'm going to go out on a limb and kind of make that hot take. Philly on a back-to-back. We talked about how travel might not matter as much for some of these teams playing back-to-back road games. Philly their ass was in the jackpot today. Yeah. They pulled it out somehow.
Yeah, you know what else? This overcast, and it really shouldn't have. So I was due a break, but this was a weird final score.
44-6. It's nice catching an over when one team can barely, get in the end zone.
Anything, right? This was, I guess, the Lions are now going to their bye.
Did he do that thing again? Oh, he'll be back. Lions are going into their bye. I don't think. Sometimes just the sour thing appears on my lips. All right, get them back in here.
Sorry about that.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Lions going to their bye as the last team without a win. It was 0-8. Today was their worst performance of the season. And I think they come out of there by playing Pittsburgh, probably a bet on spot against Detroit if you can stomach it. They were bet this week, which I never really understood. That was a side that people were confident in, that the Lions were live in this spot, and I did not ever understand that, but so be it.
I didn't really like either side. I didn't like the game whatsoever, and it was very, very one-sided, ugly affair. Oh my God, did you see that drop by Tyler Johnson? Oh, this Bucs team has been funny to me. So congrats if you took Eagles. That was really the no sweater of the day, because the other big blowout ended up coming back inside the late number and getting kind of
Seattle
dicey.
Blew out the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I suppose that is
never
fair.
Sweated that.
That was a no sweat. Tennessee Indy.
Indy was the hot side all week.
Indy was the hot side. I ended up on Indy, which was a loser. I ended up coming in live a couple times on the over when we had lulls. That was looking dicey because some of my overs were in the low 50s, and they would score, and then you'd hit this long weird lull. And it was an odd game. Like I was not counting on, but I was thinking about how does this end up tied at 48 in overtime? Just ending at 48 in overtime. It felt like it was. I knew a lot of people were on that over. The Steam side was the over. And I'm glad it got home for some smart cappers. I know.
Yeah, that was the right side.
It was the right side. So, Wentz doing the thing again. We talked about this last week where he's looked a lot better in a lot of aspects of the game, but he's done the thing where he almost throws an interception a lot, and some of those are going to start getting caught by the other team. One of them got. I mean, it wasn't like a true. I'm going to throw an interception right at a guy. It was a goofy, effed up play that ended up in a pick six. But that was actually the play that took it over the original total.
It was a bad decision.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you're right. It was a bad decision by him. He makes bad decisions. This offense is looking good at times, and the Titans
you get in bed with Wentz. That's what happens to you.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to and that was again another huge high leverage game. Tennessee basically clinches the AFC South there. The Rams, they truck sticked the Houston Texans until they didn't. Very, very weird game. I think if you laid the 16.5 points, you're probably like, what the fuck happened to me? Like how did this not cover? If you bet the Rams second half, you're probably like, how in the hell did this not get home? Because it was 38-0 And it looked like that was going to be the ending final score. Texans scored 22 into the close. They actually even almost had more points. They almost covered all the spreads. I don't know if you saw the last drive, but they were driving again. But Texans finally gave you something. The David Culley experience. Oh, you know what's not a good experience? Betting on the Texans. Every single time the Rams were on offense, all they would do is cut to Lovie Smith just like staring into space. And it was like, oh, God, why? What is going to happen now? This Rams offense is going to just utterly embarrass them. And almost every time they cut back to the Rams offense, utterly embarrassing the Texans.
Basically anything they did worked. Like, oh, here's a jet sweep. Oh my God, he's in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Another touchdown.
Well, that was easy.
Oh, this guy's wide open.
You're like, big obvious play action. Oh, he's gonna go deep, and the guy's running free.
Oh no, the safety's 10 yards behind him. 20, it was. We did sit and shit on our Dallas bet, which was, us being negative or self-deprecating, which is fine. I do want to go the other way with this one. Like, I was pretty proud of my Rams first half bet.
Nice.
As far as we said, like, remember they came out and looked stupid against the Lions. They'll probably put the foot down in the first half, and I think it was 24 zip, and that felt also it helped. Like, all the points I made were good, but it helped to also play the Texans, who are just a horrible, horrible, shitty team. And the fact that it was a 9.5 and not a 10.5 made me pretty happy to bet that. So
let's talk about the game of the week.
Go Rams.
Let's talk about the game of the week.
This was finally Survivor League gets a little dicey.
We finally got some scalps in Survivor.
You finally got some people out, and including me.
Half the pool. Half the pool took Cincinnati.
40% in the big ones took Cincinnati, and I think in the Circa one, I think it was like 40 something, and then there's finally blood. It took. I mean, I'm in some Survivor leagues where there were, like
everyone was
like over 60% of the people are left, and
I'm in a couple that were like 90%. Where literally no one has been eliminated yet.
Some small ones where it's like the people who forgot are the only ones who are out at this point. Right. If you would have told me Cincinnati put up 31 points and I could get the early number of 9.5, I said I had no taste for betting Cincy. I just didn't want to get in bed with a really unknown shitty quarterback and not know what I was going to get. The market agreed with me. Obviously, the Jets went outright, but if you say the Cincinnati Bengals are score 31 points, I'm half tempted to lay that 9.5 last Sunday. I mean, a lot of this was just the Mike White experience / the Bengals defense. I'm guessing you watched a lot of this game. There's some really low T tackling.
This was low energy
tackling.
This was the biggest decision for me today by far. Because I got it at 10, I got it at 10.5, I got it at 11, so I needed this one badly. And there was a lot of times in the second half of this game, like the Bengals kicked a field goal because they couldn't score on the goal line, and I was like, "Oh God damn it, they're gonna lose by 11," and they were down by 11 in the fourth quarter of this game, and yet they come away with a win. It was hard fought. There was a little bit of ref assistance at the end to really just slam the door. There was some some interesting referee decisions on what was a touchdown, what wasn't earlier in the game.
That's where I don't know what to make of this.
Certainly got that completed, and then the next one, the Barrios looked like it was not complete, but they didn't review it. It was very weird.
The first one, the one angle where he's like bobbling it around in his crotch. That I felt like maybe it wasn't a full catch if you looked at it. I don't know, man. But the fact that they called it on the field, I was like, well, it wasn't a catch. It wasn't a touchdown, but it's not enough to overturn this, certainly. And then they did. And then the next one, didn't even look at it. Like, that's good. Put him in. So I didn't know. I think for sure especially if you got the late number on the other side of 10, despite what the market said, the Jets were the right side. And I don't looking at this box score. I don't know how you're going to unravel it and say well, there's some weird turnovers. Yeah, both teams had weird turnovers. Well, there was some ref stuff. Well, there was ref stuff for both sides. The crux of this game was the very, very shitty effort by the Cincinnati defense. Like they just looked bad. Like they looked as bad. They haven't looked this bad all year because obviously they have been playing at a higher level than was expected. Maybe this is what you get from them, and they have just been playing up for a few weeks. But like the tackling was piss poor against a team that's only had one win. I think that was a big part of it. And I don't know. Like I was joking back and forth with Mamba about this. Like, is the Mike White thing repeatable?
Well,
it seems like this never
now
is.
He has to
like
go
this
on
sort of
the
shit
road.
just never is.
Now he has to go on the road on a short week. The Jets play Indianapolis on Thursday, and that's not a great spot. It's a really bad spot.
It's a bad spot for Mike White.
As much as I was excited about Mike White at home as a 3-score dog, and he came through and popped a lot of survivor balloons. I don't know that I'm getting involved in the Mike White experience again. However, to everyone out there who decided that the change of quarterback from Zach Wilson to Mike White was worth a 6-point downgrade, explain yourself, because this is still, Zach Wilson has sucked. And
yeah,
the fact that really out of the gate, the passing offense for the Jets looked way more lively, I don't think was an accident.
No, and even like I said last week on the show, I said I make it like 1.5 or 2, just because he doesn't have any snaps or any reps,
right?
And I think where I was at the number I was at just because I had the adjustments pregame. Like, I was fine with man. I mean, if the Bengals would have been opening, let's say they move 6 points, I say 2. If the Bengals would have been opening, 4 points off that 9.5, like let's say it opened 5.5, I have a big Bengals ticket, which would have been obviously a bad loser. But
if Zach Wilson was out there, I don't know if they win.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, you got tape on Zach Wilson. Maybe you prep. Sometimes you do see this with a quarterback you don't have much tape on. You get a good game out of him against a defense that might have been a little fraudulent at times. So
yeah,
it also sucks because
hard.
There's 2 teams now in Cincinnati and Cleveland who had a kind of an ugly loss to some teams.
Well, actually, before moving on to Cleveland,
like they play. Well, I'm just saying they got to play each other.
Yeah, I know.
Like one of these teams is going to lose 2 straight games. So.
It was a great spot to back the Bengals that the Browns had pulled off the win today, but they didn't.
Yes.
What do you think about Jamar Chase? He did nothing today against that Jets defense. That's your rookie of the year. That's your -200 rookie of the year. That guy, okay.
He had a touchdown, didn't he, in the corner of the end zone?
3 of 32.
He should have had 2.
3 of 32.
Yeah, he didn't have a big day.
He couldn't have been the distinguishing factor in that game for a Bengals team that just needed to beat the Jets, really. Yeah. No, I thought he was very unimpressive today. Not my rookie of the year. He's not my Mac Jones.
No, Mac Jones got a win today against MVP candidate. So maybe we talk about him. Pittsburgh, Cleveland. I didn't watch much of that. I had that under, and I how fatalistic you get with your bets, especially if it's been a rougher year. When it was 15-10, all I'm doing is thinking like, all right, Pittsburgh kicks a field goal, it's 18-10. Cleveland answers, it's 18-18. They kick 3 field goals in overtime and we're toast. Like you go through your head and figure out like how you're going to lose this bet. Obviously, I think it ended 15-10, didn't it?
Yeah. And honestly, there was
no doubt under. It was a beauty. There's a couple no doubt unders.
Yeah,
that were nice today.
I wanted to give Baker Mayfield a little bit of a pat on the back for getting out there and playing as hard as he did. He had a couple moments. His 5-yard scramble late in the game that got the first down was huge.
Super hard.
So hard after that. But then his wide receivers really let him down. Landry and Beckham were both on
multiple drops
for both. And then Landry with the game clinching fumble on the drive that would have likely been a go-ahead touchdown. Granted, in hindsight, it wouldn't have mattered because apparently the Steelers had it up their sleeve to drive into field goal territory. And, oh, by the way, no doubt on our secret pod team total under on the Steelers.
That whole game got steamed down, too. I bet that closed at like 19 because that total got steamed down like 3 points.
It closed at 19.5. Good call. Under 19.5 was -120. So no sweat. Good job.
Yeah, good job, Steelers.
Nice work.
Steelers. What would you have said? Like Steelers come in and they still win the game. Like that, it's not like a surprising result.
I wouldn't have
No,
been
it's
that surprised.
no,
really,
no.
honestly,
That's what I'm
Steelers
saying.
Defense can do this.
No, I'm saying what you're saying. I'm like, that wouldn't have been like a super surprising result. Like, yeah, if it ends 17-14 Steelers, whatever. That's a thing that would happen a lot.
Yeah, I mean the Browns' offense was uninspiring in terms of creativity, in terms of the fourth down play calls. I thought were stupid. And yeah, the drops are 10 targets for Jarvis Landry, 5 catches. Yikes. And yeah, I mean, just overall, the skill position players did not do great. Miles Garrett got a sack.
Yes, he did. He
was all over the place, but it didn't matter. Ultimately, the coverage was lackluster when it needed to be there. Because Roethlisberger wasn't that inspiring, really.
No, neither. I mean, neither team got to 17. Like nobody was inspiring. Defenses look good though. There's some very big defensive names in that game, and they did step up a little as well. You can't just shit on the offense.
Cleveland's in deep trouble right now.
They are kind of in deep trouble. The rest of their division is good. There's not even Pittsburgh is not a bad team. So there's a legit 4-way race with some teams. You know, the Bengals have a win over the Ravens. The Steelers now beat Cleveland. Like, there's a lot of weird tiebreak shit that's it's going to get
breaking away from them.
Yeah.
Their 4 losses have been to Kansas City, Pittsburgh. Who else did they lose to? The Chargers. And who's their last loss?
Zona.
Oh yeah, Arizona. They played a tough schedule.
They have a very tough schedule. Maybe we'll give them and they've had a lot of injuries. We'll give them a break. I believe Conklin got hurt again.
He did. He looks like he'll be out for a little while.
Yeah, that was like a cart situation, so he's out for a while. Another game that got steamed under was San Francisco, Chicago.
No. That late steam brought back up from 39 into 40.
I know, but that opened like 42 at some places.
Oh, did it? Oh, yeah. You know what? Actually, it opened 43.
There was instant under steam. And yeah, well, I don't. Yeah,
you're right.
Buyback at 39 is not super surprising.
Well, that was me, so I was happy.
I was going to say that's a big 10.
That was a relief.
And again, the same thing goes, and I'll get to this when we get to another game. Being against the market at the very end of when the market says something is not the worst thing in the world. Like,
no, it's not.
Obviously, any over would have won, but being over 39 feels a lot better than over 43. And yeah, the weather, somebody just bringing this up, the big winds didn't really show up. San Francisco, West Coast team playing an early time slot didn't look bad. I didn't watch a ton of this game.
Jimmy Garoppolo had a couple of moments where he really put his head down and got some important yards, rushing touchdowns.
Lance is getting healthy. You can see him in the rear view there.
Lance is getting healthy. Fields popped out of his funk a bit.
That run from him, that touchdown run was electric.
The 4th and 1 conversion touchdown run, that was electric.
Yeah.
It was electric. Unfortunately, the Bears defense stinks and could not keep them in range. That's it for the morning games. It was a pretty good slate of games, pretty fair results, I thought. Nothing that I would have said was, man, my God, how did that happen? Except for the Miami blowing the cover. The afternoon slate of games also was, I thought, fairly true. Seattle was the better team. They were better prepared. Jacksonville is absolute trash and deserved to get their brains beaten in the way that they did. No real thoughts about that game. I think we're probably seeing the last of Geno Smith. Go ahead.
Yeah, like losing to Geno Smith in that fashion can't feel good, especially after how he looked last week. And then the fact that Urban didn't go for 2 to make it a 16-point game, but then kicked the onside kick was just like I'm sitting in my office just laughing at it. Like what are we doing? Like now it's 17. We've made it from a 3-score to a 3-score. We should really just kick. And then I was glad they ran it back. That made me laugh.
I enjoyed Dan Campbell going for 2 when he was down 41-0.
Well, that's just
got a touchdown, and then they went for 2. I was like, good on you, Dan Campbell. Although not getting that 2 put my over in jeopardy, which I was very annoyed about. Ultimately got there. Thank you.
Yeah,
to
not a lot to
Eagles
say.
kicking the
Not a lot
meaningless
to
field
say
goal.
about Jacksonville, Seattle. Jacksonville is a broken team. Seattle.
There was some oversteam there that was not rewarded.
Yeah, Jacksonville just couldn't chip in.
Seattle was the bet side. That was the right side. Over was bet. That was wrong. Patriots were the bet side against the LA Chargers in LA. And that was right. The Patriots were the right side through and through today. I don't know if ultimately they deserved to win. They got some fortunate bounces turnover wise. They had some breaks penalty wise, but ultimately they played a cleaner game. Justin Herbert was 18 of 35 today for 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Same guy picked both passes. Second one, he returned for a touchdown after there was a total lack of any awareness that there may have been an interception going on on the part of the Chargers.
I want to blame the receiver a little on that. The receiver, something happened. People were not on the same page for that play because I just like, oh man, he didn't even look. There's been a few like that. So yeah, the Chargers can't stop the run. We talked about that a little last week. Like the Patriots, Patriots did a lot of things.
They did better today against the run than they have. Actually, I take it back. Patriots had 141 yards on the ground. The Chargers talked all week about addressing their run fits and did not, which is not a good sign because they had the entire bye week to work on that. So that's a problem. And really, they lost Asante Samuel Jr. Was that a long-term thing or did he come back?
I think he's out. Yeah. That's on my list of injury follow-ups.
Chargers defense gets worse. Chargers look likely to fall out of the race in the AFC West, particularly if the Chiefs go on a little bit of a tear here, which is possible. Any other takeaways from New England Chargers other than New England was the right side? Over was the right side, and that barely
over
got
for
there.
Sure.
Barely.
I got a good number on the Chargers. I felt good about them off the bye. They just stunk. They stunk on offense. I needed a lot more from that offense, and obviously the defense was rough, and then we lost pieces too. So not great there. But yes, looking forward on that one. I'm gonna have to. Who do the Chargers play this week? We'll get to these games, but I feel like they have they go to Philly. Good bounce back spot for them, I suppose. Washington, Denver. Under was there.
Over was bet, man.
Yeah, I know. The under was looking very, very good in the first half. And then, that there was a few drives. There was some drives that looked like there'd be some points. There was multiple missed blocked field goals, some shenanigans down by the red zone again for Washington. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to make a case that Washington was probably the right side. I haven't gone fully into this box score, but just
for the second straight week. For the second straight week,
deserve better.
Washington outgained the Denver Broncos 350 to 275. They had 21 first downs to Denver 17. They equal penalties, one more turnover. They won the time of possession, and they lost by 7. And again, they took a ton of points off the board themselves. This is becoming like a legitimate thing. Missed a field goal early. Interception in the first quarter was costly. Missed a second field goal there were 2 missed field goals in the second quarter, one by each team. There were 2 missed field goals in the second half, one by each team. Another costly interception when Washington was driving in the red zone. They took at least 14, 13, we'll say 13 points off the board themselves with missed field goals and turnovers, maybe more. The overbackers are pulling their hair out.
I don't want to say the over was the right side because these are teams that can do bad things in the red zone, but they probably deserve to at least have a sweat.
Denver was the bet side on this one, and they were lucky to get that win.
I think so too. They looked like shit. Both teams just kind of looked like shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of looking like shit, Tom Brady just lost to Trevor Siemian, essentially. This is another one where this came down to 48.5. I said I'd probably play the over. I did play the over once I got there. Weird game. I'm very efficient as far as getting into the end zone, but that's that's a Tampa Bay thing as well. I didn't feel good about it anymore once Jameis got knocked out. I'm not sure what happens when these backup comes in, but we know that the Tampa Bay secondary can be attacked, and you still have some decent receivers. Getting that out of Trevor Siemian was nice, I guess. It's not like, go look at his stat line. It wasn't great. It was probably about what you'd see from a
Trevor
guy like
Siemian
him.
was 16 of 29.
Yeah.
29. He threw 29 passes. He completed 16 of them for 160 yards and 1 touchdown. 5.5 yards per attempt.
Some nice Kamara help. Like Kamara's big. He maybe not a big stat line, but it seemed like he was there on a couple third downs. And then, just some mistakes by Tampa, taking advantage of decent field position. Obviously, there was a big pick six at the end to absolutely ice it.
Yeah.
But the fact that it got that low, and I still had like the over from earlier in the week.
Godwin went 8 for 140 and a touchdown. I mean, Tampa Bay's rushing attack was pathetic. And we knew that was going to they were going to be running into a stone, a brick wall, because New Orleans Saints have a very good run defense. But the Saints gave up some big fucking plays. They gave up some explosive plays. I think the under was still the right look. This closed 48. It's close to 48. I got it at 51.
I don't know. The market move isn't always the right side when the teams are just going to score touchdowns every time. I mean, it ended up getting into the 60s, true.
Yeah, because of the pick six, though. I mean, realistically, this was still in the balance until Tampa
went
scored.
Over. Yeah, it went over with like
6
or 8 minutes left, I think. Yeah, respectfully disagree.
You thought that the over was the right side here?
Yeah, they both have secondaries that can get just shit canned. Like a couple of balls over the top wasn't super surprising.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you were like you liked the over here. Did you play the Saints in the end?
What's that?
Did you end up playing the Saints?
I wanted to do like a Saints over teaser, a Saints over parlay. That felt pretty smart. Like, just didn't happen. I liked the Saints. I liked the over. Ended up going with the over because the price had got so depressed. I said I'd played at 49, if you remember. The fact that it went on the other 49 is not like the keyest of key, but it is 7 touchdowns. And the fact it went under that, and I hated both these secondaries against some good receivers, even with AB out. Who was the guy that got really, really open? Grayson Chiliups? I don't know his last name. I just made up a word. I've never heard of that guy in my life.
No, I didn't.
Maybe that was the reason he got lost in the shuffle. Where they're like, oh, that's like their 8th receiver. Don't cover him. But Brady over the top.
Cyril Grayson.
Cyril Grayson. There we go. So, maybe keep an eye on that guy if AB is out, because he can run pretty fast. I think that's it. That just leaves us with tonight, where Cooper Rush will take the field.
This should probably be 6, and it's 4.5. So there's probably a little juice to squeeze on Minnesota if you feel that way.
Yeah, if you're not sitting on what could probably be a gross a Polish middle where Minnesota winning by 3 would hurt pretty bad.
Because that's probably the most likely outcome, actually.
Yeah, so that's not something I'll be getting involved with. Like I said, if Dallas is able to get a lead, I would be the kind of guy who would buy out of my ticket for sure. Somebody brought up bookmaker having mistake lines on their live. Don't go nuts with that and max them, because they might whack you on the hand for that. But it's been like that for a couple weeks. Keep an eye on the live lines on any book. There's been some stupid numbers where, late a team was leading is like, it's basically flipped. You can say like, they should be a 5-point favorite. They're a 5-point dog. A 10-point gift is nothing to turn down, I'm sure. Do you want to quick dive into next week?
Yeah,
let's do 20 minutes.
You got any thoughts on Monday Night Football before, or no?
Not really. 10's probably the right number.
Who did you pair your Carolina teaser leg with, by the way?
I didn't even place one. I wanted to do it. I've never found something I loved. I probably would have. Yeah, I said, like we said.
I didn't realize how aggressively Carolina got bet after the Ridley news. That close to 1.5, huh?
A lot of people use Carolina in teasers. That was a good one. I think I had it figured out where it was going to be the Indy Tennessee game, which that would have cashed. So, Monday Night Football. That's 10's probably a good number. The KC offense isn't going to be bad forever. It is.
I made this number and total exactly correct.
Yeah, it's for sure. Like, this is about where it is. I did play the over for a little once it got bet down. I still don't like anything about the KC defense, and despite the injuries, the Giants are still scoring, even if it's garbage time Giants. I think KC gets to like 34 in this one, and I definitely think so. 34-21 is my final that I have median score projections. So I think there's actually a little value in the over.
Interesting. Okay. We'll talk about it at halftime. Jets Colts is Thursday Night Football. The Jets were expected to be 14.5 point dogs. Did you know what it opened at?
10?
10.5. Actually, that's crazy. Is this all the entire that entire reset is just, oh wait, Mike White might be better or equal to Zach Wilson?
Even if
that's a big shift. Not that I'm saying I didn't have a stomach for the dog either way here, but that's a decent amount of value sucked out of that number.
It's 10.5 minus 13 at Chris. So like it's shaded towards 11. It helps a little, but it's still too much. Yes,
different than 14.5. So
yeah, 10.5 is a bit silly.
Easy pass or
easy pass. Also not a Wong teaser, but Colts down to 4.5. It's not a bad teaser. Like, we'll see.
Colts are probably. Do you think the Colts play their way into a wild card? Should we bet Colts playoff yes at plus money?
That's not a bad look.
You think they play their way into a wild card? Because right now the AFC wild card picture could go to anyone.
I'd have to look at the schedule.
The Colts have an easy schedule rest of the way.
I'm going to update my power numbers, update my strict schedule stuff. I'm going to run some stuff. We'll talk. Let's put a pin in this. Talk Wednesday. I think that's a good topic for when we get to this game that we don't really want to bet. The second game is Houston, Miami. This look ahead was a 7. I make it a 7. It is currently up at a 7. Miami is about as bad as we expected in certain parts of their game. And the Houston Texans offered nothing until, big brother let little brother make a few baskets. Like, oh, man, wide open 3 for you. Good job, buddy.
Tyrod Taylor going to go?
If Tyrod Taylor goes, it's a whole different story. We were going to bet Houston if Tyrod Taylor got announced in. I think both of us would have fired on that. I mean,
I fired on it thinking that he was.
I was scared.
I didn't put
I was scared.
Stake down, but I was like, he's got.
If he played, if he played, I would have bet it for sure. So, no thanks on this one. Miami is that big of a favorite is gross, but it is Houston. This is another one I'm going to look into the injury situations in the secondary and wide receivers for really both teams and make some decisions. But easy pass for now.
Yeah.
Denver, Dallas. We'll skip because we don't know exactly what Dallas is going to do tonight, nor if Dak will be back. That's an easy one to not talk about. Minnesota, Baltimore is next on the docket. That's another easy one not to talk about. That look at is -6. I feel like even with a Minnesota win, that's probably kind of what you're going to end up with unless something catastrophic would happen to Kirk.
That's a dog or pass.
Yeah. You kind of want Minnesota to look stinky and get a 7.
Yeah, I think you do.
I would love to take Minnesota to 7 because I don't have right now. I don't have Baltimore as that big of a favorite.
No, I don't either.
I'm closer to a 4.
I'm at 4 as well. Wow,
yeah,
look at us.
Minnesota would be a bet there. So not only for my Dallas ticket, but I hope Minnesota kind of looks bad and it stays at least 6.5, 7 would be a mana from heaven. New England, Carolina. was a New England -2.5 on this look ahead. We are now looking
about this. Mac Jones, rookie of the year, 3-point favorite on the road. How about that?
My comeback player of the year tickets were Darnold and Jameis. So thanks. You can have that.
It's going to be Dak or Burrow, so you're dead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if Dak doesn't.
You're drawing dead on that.
No, that's so Darnold. He got gritty with it today, a little Garoppolo-ish at times, but still, that was an ugly game. I don't want to give him a lot of credit.
Not a fan.
No, I think that was a mistake. My number here is
tough travel spot for New England. They go to LA, they get a huge win. Now they go home. Then they travel to Carolina. That's not a non-trivial trip.
I'm pretty much on market. I make it 3.4.
It's probably Carolina's going to be bet if everyone's healthy, would be my guess. The Stephon Gilmore revenge game.
Ooh, there is that.
Is he even healthy and playing? I wasn't paying attention.
I don't think so.
You don't? Oh, no, he played today. He had one pass defense. I don't think he's healthy. He had one pass defense.
I don't think he's effective.
He defended a pass today.
Well, that doesn't count. It was against.
He has a PD. He's on the stat sheet.
He did make the paper.
He made 2 tackles, 1 solo.
Buffalo got a late cover for most people. Heading to Urban's house. This look ahead was a 10.5. It's up to 14. I am close to that.
See, like if you were willing to walk to the window and lay it with Buffalo today against Miami, why wouldn't you against Jacksonville? Jacksonville is well.
I forgot he did get
worse
a pick,
than Miami. I think this is easy. Both Buffalo or pass. Easy.
I'm pretty close to the number, but yeah, I mean, if you're gonna steam this up, I don't see how this. If you're gonna steam them up versus Miami.
Pick? Oh, what do you know? You did get
so much of that game I watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. If the market's going to steam them up against Miami, they'll certainly steam them up against a Jacksonville team that did nothing until garbage time. Trevor actually doesn't look horrible at all times. He just doesn't have the talent around him. So laying 14 on the road isn't going to get you rich long term, though. I'm probably passing for the most part. The Battle of Ohio. Cincinnati, Cleveland. I talked about this a little before. Both these teams had some losses that they're probably going to be hard to stomach when they watch film on Monday.
Here's the thing.
They play each other
in
a divisional game. What?
You know what's coming, right? Cincinnati money, if this is 2.5.
I mean, it already kind of is. It's juicy 2.5 already, isn't it?
Cincinnati's going to get bet all week.
So your 2.5 is flat. Chris is -19, which probably says that you're right. With the injury on the offensive line for Cleveland and Baker not looking quite right yet, yeah, this is Cincinnati bounce back money. Should we just bet this? I think I'm going to.
Yeah,
this doesn't. Yeah, I don't think you get it. I don't think you get a 2.5 later in the week.
I don't either.
Dan, put it on the board.
Closes 3. I think this closes 3, a juicy 3. I think Cincinnati's the bet side in this game.
I'm on. Yeah. You're not going to get this number later in the week until we find out Burrow hurt his knee or something.
I'm looking at the weather. It's going to be a beautiful day in Cincinnati on Sunday.
Most days.
This over is going to get bet too.
What did we end up there? High 40s?
45.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That over is going to take money.
I don't know how I feel about it's 45.5 other places. All right. Yep.
We're going to close 47.
We're on to Cincinnati -2.5. Vegas takes on the Giants. Giants don't play till tomorrow night. That look ahead's about a field goal for the visitors. We'll get into that a little more on Wednesday. Atlanta, New Orleans. Probably is this on the board with the injury stuff? I'm not so sure people are going to want to hang a number on this. I'm not seeing it up.
Which one? Which game are you talking about?
New Orleans, Atlanta.
Did you skip by Vegas Giants because of the Giants?
Yeah, I'm just. Right. I kind of want to see what they do tomorrow. I mean, if you have an opinion, quick. But
I don't.
I don't think I see a world where the Giants do enough to make this number move considerably.
Well, I see a world where Kansas City beats the brakes off of them, and then you don't get a Las Vegas -2.5 if you want it.
Yeah, that's fair.
There are a couple of those out there. If you want Las Vegas -2.5, I think you need to bet it today. Let's move on. I'm not going to bet it.
Atlanta, New Orleans off the board because of the quarterback stuff.
We're
Chargers,
expecting New Orleans -5-ish, 44 is a total-ish.
I was seeing a 46 in the look at on that total. Although I can see that opening a little lower given Atlanta's offensive woes and the
Westgate
fact that
hung 43.5. Interestingly,
really, maybe I'm off one line here.
That's low.
LAC, PHI, Chargers, Eagles. Another one where you have a West Coast team about a field goal favorite on the road. Get right spot for the Chargers, but
what did you bet Chargers in this game already? 2.5.
Oh yeah. This was my look ahead. What do we at now?
Did you bet 2.5?
I think so. This was the one I bet a look at, didn't I?
I think so.
It's 3, whatever. It's about the same. It's 3+ money, so it's not like I gained or lost anything.
You didn't capture. Yeah, you didn't beat the Vic.
I think it would probably been at Bet Online if I did. I'll go check that account.
Oh God, I need to think hard about this one. I don't have a good read on what's going on with the Chargers right now. I don't know what happened today, honestly.
Whoever Philly decides to trot out there at running back, which is a major annoyance to the fantasy community right now, is working. And this is a team that's struggling against that, and some and
they have a mobile QB.
Yeah, the short stuff that they can kill you with, the mobile QB thing, like they're going to struggle with this defense a little. This total is, if it were a little lower, I'd probably take this over, but 51 is probably about right. I'm going to watch this total. I think that'll tell me more about what we're going to see from this game than anything on the sides. Packers play Kansas City again. Kansas City has to play tomorrow night. We'll have to probably wait a little bit to get a good grip on that. Green Bay obviously going to go in with a big rest advantage. This is the ass in the jackpot team off a Monday night versus a team from a Thursday night. So you get the double bonus mini mega buy advantage spot for Green Bay.
Mini mega buy.
There is that. But at the same time, even with my adjustments right now, what do you make this right now? I'm KC -1.5 right now.
I'm at 3. I'm inclined to take Kansas City -2.5 today. So I don't think this is 2.5 when it reopens after Monday night.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't have these teams far enough apart and then the rest advantage is kind of throwing a little bit of a thing into it. God, maybe I want this Eagles over now. The more I look at it. All right, Arizona, San Francisco. Arizona off.
I want Kansas to do 2.5. I think I'm getting on this now.
Okay.
I'm firing. Because Kansas City they're gonna win and cover tomorrow. I think. In my gut, I think that's how that goes.
What if they win by again, it ends up where I think it ends up. Let's
10-point win.
Let's say 34-23. Do you really think there's a big adjustment? The market says they should win by 10. They win by 11-14. You think the market is like, oh, they're all right? Because I
think the more likely final is going to be like 41-14.
I think they have to have a really good offensive day to make the market move.
Tanyan is out for sure. Adams probably back. Andy is muted.
I had to cough there, so I muted myself. Sorry, but yeah, Adams should be back. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be a multi-week thing with COVID. Yeah, I'm happy for you. I'm not excited about jumping on him quite yet.
Okay. All right.
Just seeing what Green Bay. I don't know if I'm worried about Green Bay injury concerns. Arizona's defense is better than KC's. Green Bay apparently can do it against anybody with anybody out there lined up wide. So
Green Bay's defense is the problem.
This over should be like 58, and it is
55.5. Yeah. All right. Oh,
Arizona.
Oh my God, I got to go back to the well with the fucking Niners again. against the Cardinals.
So this look ahead was a tree. It is a 2.5. Don't you think you can wait on the Niners? Won't there be Cardinals money, the bounce back Cardinals spots? Like, I think if you want the Niners, wait.
Yes,
I think you'll get it. You might get a 3.5, 4.
Yes. I think you're right.
I'm with you, but I don't think betting it early. So, like, in what world would this go down to a 2? And maybe I'm dead wrong, but I just don't see the market trending that way. This might be a later bet. I'm with you though. I'm hesitant to back Arizona on the road in the spot. Titans Rams, in a battle of like one-ish seeds.
Jeff Fisher teams. Is that what you're going to say? A battle of Jeff Fisher teams.
I mean, these teams, and then people are asking about Murray. I think he's okay.
He's going to be perpetually in that. Is he hurt?
Yeah, he's the Julio Jones of quarterbacks.
That's a fair comp.
And he does get extra rest as well. Oh, Glazer's saying 1 to 3 weeks for Kyler. Well, that's a horse of a different color.
What does that mean? 1 to 3 weeks what?
I don't know. We need to check that in. Like, is he out? I didn't think that was a thing.
Let's dig into that.
Let's dig into that while we talk about the next one, which is Tennessee Rams. So, yeah, the Jeff Fisher Bowl, the teams that are pretty close to 1 seeds. All right. Yeah, it was his ankle. It was a sprained. All right. Glazer says they're hoping the extra rest allows him to not miss games. If you take away his running ability, God, maybe this does get bet the other way. I think he plays.
Glazer said that if Murray arrives tomorrow at the facility and he shows that the swelling has gone down, he could play on Sunday against the Niners. Good job.
Well, I don't love that. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was just kind of a twisted ankle. I didn't realize
it happened apparently on the last play of that interception at the end of the game. I didn't realize that at all.
No, I knew he twisted it up, but I didn't think it was like a worries. This is something to monitor, obviously. Jesus.
Without looking, who is Kyler Murray's backup, Andy?
John Skelton.
No, it's not. Skelton's not even on the roster anymore.
I don't think
you do know the third stringer. You do know the third stringer.
Chris Strevler.
Strevler is the third stringer. Who's the backup?
Colt McCoy. Sam in the chat told me I was cheating.
Colt McCoy is the backup. It's Strevler's the third stringer. Interesting, man. We could have a Colt McCoy game against San Francisco.
Colt McCoy would still be the better quarterback in that game.
I mean, the Niners should have covered that first game. I'm still bent out of shape about that. I lost a lot of money on that. October, by the way, was the losingest month that I've had as a somewhat serious bettor. If you want to really break it down.
If you really want to poop on me.
If you really want to break down how this month has gone, this was the losingest month I've had. So I'm really prepared to turn the calendar to November. Start with
I just always assume like when I was younger, I had worse months. From an I always just go by ROI standpoints.
From an ROI standpoint, I had minus infinity a couple of months, surely, where the entire bankroll was 0. I had to reload. Yes, many of those.
What? Sure. All right, quick, because we got a couple minutes before the game starts. Rams laying 6.
That's a big number. Tennessee's obviously proven to be very, very frisky. The Rams can be run on. Not a good matchup for them, honestly. This is probably dog or pass. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not quite to 6. I'd like to redo my Tennessee number a little and see where I'm at. Dog or pass for sure. Chicago-Pittsburgh is the closer for the week on Monday. Chicago getting 6.5. That's another dog. That's another dog spot. And I don't like betting on the Bears, but oof. Joey says, "How are you turning it around? Because you had a nice couple weeks. Let's kind of touch on that Wednesday after we got to go. Let's starting right now, but let's start with that Wednesday. Let's talk about seasonal adjustments.
2021 has been great overall. I lost in March. I lost in October. October, I basically gave back a shit ton of winnings from the U.S. Open of tennis, which sucks. But it doesn't set me back for the year overall. So I'm not like in an especially bad place mentally where I'm like questioning everything. So that's good. But certainly I do need to figure out how I'm going to find an edge in the NFL again, because right now I don't really have one. So
I know, like that's the thing too. Like everyone, it's passe and cliche and all that with the mental health thing. But like I see people on Twitter saying stuff, like people who are doing the content space, and they're saying like, I'm having a bad time. Like I'm not enjoying, like basically in so many words are saying, I'm not enjoying betting today. Like if it stresses you out that bad, you're either putting too much money on it or your brain is broken. Like you have to understand this is hard. There's a lot of variance. You can have a bunch of good numbers. You can get just F'd in the A. Like you really have to take this stuff in stride and just try to be better. But like if it's stressing you out, maybe lower your unit size.
Yeah,
I don't stress about anything.
That's a good point.
I think that's why I'm okay in this community. Like the part of my brain that stresses or worries is broken. Like to the point where like my wife doesn't like that about me. I never get worked up about anything.
That's a like really good point, actually.
Like how many rants have I had?
You teach yourself to be agnostic about this stuff, because if you let it creep into your personal life, it really does make you, that compounds things.
Yeah.
And it makes
also I'm fucking crushing baseball.
You are?
Just
bummer for you that the season's almost over.
I know, it sucks. I just like I've been trying to come up with bets on most of the games for Brown Bag on some stuff, just on baseball, and it's been going pretty well. And I have the Braves series price, so I would love baseball to be over tonight. Let's go.
I'm just happy for October to be over tonight. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my numbers right now, and this was a really, really bad month.
Let's hope Dan, Fatalist Dan. Was that a double play to end the top of the first? Oh, sorry, Dan. His stream is like 20 seconds behind mine. And he just got mad.
He's not at the game?
All right. Let's Dan, pop in here, show me your costume before we go. I don't know if he knows.
Little Coach Beard action.
Coach Beard.
How do the kids love it? They all love Ted Lasso, probably.
We haven't had any kids come tonight. Weirdly, I figured we would, but we live in an apartment complex, but nobody popped in. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some candy that has drugs in it. I'm gonna listen to my Olivia, and we'll catch you guys at halftime. Got to make sure I don't mix that up with the stuff I'm handing out. I had 2 trick-or-treaters at my office.
That's a big story. They like to scare parents that their kids are going to get drugs.
See that double play, Dan?